Guys, I really don't feel like hanging out. Work has just been draining me. I'm just gonna go home and take a nap or something. Dude, that's like the third time you flaked on us. Come on, man. Yeah, I just wish I had more energy, you know? Hey guys, let's talk about how we can boost our energy levels. If you're ever feeling like tired or lethargic or just fatigued throughout the day, there could be a lot of things you're doing in your lifestyle or things that you're eating wrong that are contributing to that. Well, let's start with the big one, our sleep. Our sleep is so important. It's our body's time to recover. It's our time for our brain to recover. It's also our time for our brain to form new memories and just for our body to get the much needed rest it deserves. But a lot of people cut into their sleep. It's like they can just sacrifice their sleep to start doing more stuff in the day. Like, for example, if they have to study for a big exam. I was guilty of this a lot when I was in school. Or some people just like to hang out with friends or play video games or party. Problem is, when you start cutting into your sleep, this is what starts to drain your energy. And there's actually studies that say when you start cutting into your sleep like this for a consistent period of time, you will start to feel more grumpy and more tired. And also, there's some new research out there about people who are sleeping 5 hours or less per day. So if you sleep 5 hours or less per day, you are at a higher risk of getting multimorbidity. Multimorbidity is basically when you have multiple chronic diseases. So not just one, multiple chronic diseases. So how much sleep do we really need? Well, on average, adults will need between 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And again, this is just an average, so everyone's a little different, but for the most people, this is gonna be what you should strive for. But it's not just about the amount of sleep that you're getting, right? That is a huge part, but it's also about your sleep quality. So you have these 4 stages to your sleep cycle. As you get deeper and deeper in these stages, your sleep gets deeper and deeper. And also at the end of these stages, you have your REM sleep. So your REM sleep is where your dreaming occurs. So at any point, if we're missing out on certain parts of these sleep stages, then it's gonna affect our body a lot, right? Because every single one of these sleep stages is very important for our brain to function well. So I actually made some videos on how you can improve the quality of your sleep, and I'm putting a link to some of those videos in the description below. So make sure you check those out. Another big reason our energy could be off is because we are stressed. There are many reasons we could be stressed out, whether we have a bad boss or just a toxic relationship in general, or there's so many responsibilities that we have. There's a lot of things that can stress us out. But a lot of stress can lead to chronic fatigue and chronic tiredness. So what happens when you get stressed? Well, when you get stressed, you have this hormone that's released in your body. This hormone is called cortisol. This is the same hormone that's released when we are in our fight or flight mode. And this fight or flight mode is also called our sympathetic nervous system. So when this fight or flight mode, or when our stress response is activated, over time, this can cause a lot of issues in our body because this cortisol can also cause some oxidative stress to our body. And the reason is this hormone cortisol will fight off antioxidants. And you might have heard a lot of things about antioxidants and how they're really good for our body. And that's true because antioxidants can fight off oxidative stress. So if you have too much cortisol for too long of a period of time, this can lead to oxidative stress on our body. And oxidative stress can basically lead to a cascade of reactions in our body that can start to damage our cells and cause a lot of chronic diseases to occur. So it may sound counterintuitive, but in order to have new energy, sometimes you just have to start relaxing. So whether that means you start reading more, or you start going on more walks, or you just start meditating, whatever it takes to calm your body down and get rid of some of the stress can go a long way. And actually, I made a video on how you can start improving your stress levels by just simply changing the way that you breathe. So I'm putting a link to that video in the description below, so make sure you check that out as well. Another reason we don't have enough energy throughout the day is we are not moving enough. Our bodies were designed to move. We are not supposed to be sedentary people. So if you're not exercising, or you're at least not getting any sort of movement throughout the day, this is gonna throw off our energy levels. And also, we can't just stay still, right? Because if you stay still or you're sedentary for a long period of time, like multiple days or just like your whole life, you're gonna be at risk for more chronic diseases again. So you're starting to see this trend, right? Where a lot of energy problems are associated with chronic disease problems. So if you never exercise or you just never move, you're gonna be at a higher risk of getting things like heart disease, being overweight or obese, or getting diabetes. And these are all things that are related to your energy levels. And also, exercising could be kind of an indirect relationship with our energy levels as well. Because when we exercise more, it also improves our ability to sleep. One of the reasons is when we exercise or we move throughout the day, our body becomes more physically tired. And when we're more physically tired, we're able to fall asleep so much easier. And we're not going to have this insomnia where we're just staying up for too long. Another way to improve your energy levels is to stop smoking and stop drinking alcohol. Look, we all know that smoking and drinking are not good for you, right? But both of these things, especially doing them together, will affect every single aspect of your body, and not in a good way. Both of these, again, increase your risk of getting multiple chronic diseases. But also, let's talk about smoking. So what's the problem with smoking? Well, when you smoke, you inhale all these toxins into your lungs. And the problem with that is over time, it's going to start to damage your lungs. When it starts to damage your lungs don't function as well. And over time, they'll start functioning a lot less efficiently. Now, that means that it's going to be a lot harder for your body to get enough oxygen, because our lungs are these bags of air that are giving oxygen to the rest of our body. And if those don't function as well, then the rest of our body is not going to function as well, because we need oxygen to survive. And this is one reason we're going to be more fatigued and more tired and have less energy when we are a smoker. Now, the good news is if you quit smoking, you can recover pretty well. And you can actually recover pretty close to where you were before you started smoking. The only thing is you have to make sure that you quit. Now, it's kind of similar with alcohol, right? Alcohol is another one of these poisons we're putting in our body, and our liver is going to have to work so hard to detoxify it. And again, if we drink a lot of alcohol, especially people who are regular binge drinkers, you're going to be at a much higher risk of getting many different diseases. Now, one interesting thing I hear about with alcohol is people who drink alcohol tend to sleep faster. And one of the reasons is alcohol is a sedative. So it may help you sleep quicker, but it'll make the quality of your sleep so much worse. And remember, both the amount of hours that we're sleeping and the quality of sleep are so important. So again, anytime you drink alcohol, especially right before bed, the quality of your sleep is going to be so much worse. And you're going to be a lot less likely to get these deeper stages of your sleep cycle. So think about someone who has sleep apnea. So someone who has sleep apnea, you picture them as someone who's going to fall asleep at the wheel the next day, someone who's going to be really tired, really drowsy the next day. And the reason is they're not sleeping well. Even if someone with sleep apnea sleeps like 8 to 10 hours a night, they're never going to feel the full benefits of that duration of sleep. And the reason is kind of similar to people who drink a lot of alcohol, that they're going to have multiple awakenings in the middle of their night. They're going to have multiple of these micro arousals that are waking them up, and they're never going to get this full sleep cycle. Okay guys, let's move on to our diet. So there are so many things we can do to start improving our energy, right? We can change our lifestyle, we can improve our sleep, we can start working out more, but at the end of the day, if we do not have the right nutrients in our body, all of these changes are only going to go so far. We need these nutrients in our body in order for our body to function as well as it can. So if you're someone that eats a lot of processed foods, eats a lot of refined sugars, a lot of refined carbohydrates, then your health is just going to be affected and you're not going to have as much energy as you could. But also on the other end, if you are someone that is constantly dieting, and specifically someone who is constantly restricting their meals or skipping meals, then you're still not going to have as much energy. Because even though you might be losing weight because you're cutting out those calories, your body's not going to have enough energy because you're not getting any nutrients from your diet. And not only are you going to be more fatigued when you're not getting these nutrients, you're also going to have more anxiety, and you're also going to be not as attentive when you're not eating as much. So I looked up some statistics before this video, and the numbers are not looking so great. About 42% of Americans are obese, 10.5% of Americans are diabetic, and 38% of Americans are pre-diabetic. So there is a lot of improvement we can make with our diets. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is drinking water. For a long time, I barely drank any water because I would go to work and I would be seeing patients, and I would just kind of bounce room to room, and I wouldn't have any sort of water bottle or anything in my desk. So the only time I would drink water is after work once I got home. But at that point, there's barely any time to drink any water, and I have to go to sleep soon. And then I decided to go shopping on Amazon, and I got one of those gallon jugs of water. And this really changed my life. Now I always have this jug of water with me every time I go to work, and I get made fun of a lot because it's such a big jug of water, but I always have water with me and I'm always able to drink water. And this is one change that really improved my energy level. So this is one of those things where I just think you have to have this conscious effort to drink more water throughout the day. Now, obviously everyone's a little different, right? That whole concept of drinking 8 waters a day does not apply to everybody. Some people are gonna be these super athletes and a lot bigger, and these people are gonna need a lot more water than someone who is a lot more sedentary or just a lot smaller in general. But if you are dehydrated, this can affect your whole body and even affect your brain. And in doing so, this will, one, lower your energy. Also, it can affect your mood, and it's gonna make you a lot more tired. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked that video. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel below. I will see you in the next video.